It isn't often that we get to be there when a dream comes true for someone, but you're witnessing it right here, right now. It isn't Amtrak Silver Star routinely pulling into Tampa's Navy Y. It's what's on the bottom of the train. Two private cars, the Hollywood Beach and the Georgia 300. Private varnish, as they call it in the industry. Both cars and this trip are the dream of this man, Paul Newtson, a CSX manager and private railcar buff. Paul has dreamed for more than a decade of chartering a private car and taking friends on a trip. For his 40th birthday, that's what Paul's doing.
Happy birthday. Thank you.
The Newtson, Florida Special backs down the A-line into Tampa's Union Station. Standing on an open platform for this move through Ybor City is a rare experience for a rail fan. On the platform with Paul is longtime Jacksonville friend Frank DeFalco. He'll be the official photographer on this excursion.
The ground power doesn't work.
These two cars, the Georgia 300 and the Hollywood Beach, are special because of their age and their history. Hollywood Beach is an ex-Seaboard Airlines Sun Lounge. Seaboard's version of a dome car, but without the extended height so as to fit through the tunnels into New York City. The Georgia 300 is likely the most famous private rail car in America. Owned by Jack Hurd of Fernandina, Florida, the Georgia has been used by CEOs, billionaires, and presidential candidates, including George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama. The two-car charter will be tied down at Tampa Union Station for 48 hours to help celebrate National Train Day. A special Amtrak locomotive, a typical passenger coach and sleeper, plus lots of railroad displays make up the celebration. The Lego Club's model layout took everyone's breath away with its detail, accuracy, and sheer size. Warren McFarland was there, demonstrating the first high-speed communication mode, the telegraph. Warren was a railroad operator and telegrapher for decades in the 20th century. Paul and his wife Vanessa and daughter Sable have invited friends and family to come along on this rolling birthday party.
On Monday around lunchtime to come back up here to Tampa.
Well, I feel so humble, you just don't know. I'm telling you.
It wouldn't be a trip without Uncle Joe, that's for sure.
Man, I'm telling you, bringing tears to my eyes.
On Sunday morning, the Amtrak Silver Star backs on to the two-car charter, and we're off on the journey. Paul's charter began in Jacksonville on Friday and came to Tampa for the weekend layover. Now we're continuing south. The route will take us out east to Auburndale, turning south on ex-Seaboard trackage to Winter Haven, West Palm, Deerfield Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and finally Miami's Hialeah Yard, where we'll spend the night and come back north the next morning. Cars like the Georgia 300 with its open rear platform offer a train riding experience available nowhere else. Moving through the McDonald Connection at Auburndale, the air is filled with the sweet perfume of Florida oranges from the giant Cottrell citrus plant. In the kitchen of the Georgia 300, Chef Mario is preparing tonight's onboard meal.
What's for dinner? Paella. Huh? A paella. Paella italiana.
Very nice. Is it hard cooking on a train, on a moving train?
Very, very hard. You know, you gotta get used to it. Especially, you know, I'll cook you into water. You know, you put a pot of water, the water goes all over the place, so, you know, there, you can see. This is all burning water. Look at those scallops over there. Beautiful. Look at those scallops. Moses, this has already been cooked. I just gotta need to put them in.
College friend Cheryl Brisky baked a special cake for the onboard birthday party. In fact, she baked 2 of them. Making everyone feel at home on the Hollywood Beach were car attendants Bob Willits and Sarah Geddes. After turning south on the Auburndale sub, evidence of the CSX Florida mainline improvements began to appear. Concrete ties on the main, the additional siding leading to the new Winter Haven Intermodal Logistics Center. Paul has invited a gamut of friends on this junket, including his first employer.
He came to my store for a job when he was a youngster. And he worked when he was a teenager, till he went to college. But he remembers opening a box of delivery, he said today, where an order came in and he said, "Oh, I like that car." And I say, "Oh, that's for Mr. So-and-so's order. You can't have that one."
We slow to enter the siding at West Frostproof to meet northbound Amtrak 98. He doesn't slow down.
To have your room.
Whoa! Wow! All right. You have an AED
We can. You can't.
They have the best coffee there.
See it record up at the top, turn red.
Passing Indiantown with freight cars on the siding. Crossing rivers is always exciting, even more so from the back end of the train. This is the St. Lucie Canal Drawbridge.
What's that? You get any good shots?
When we turned onto the South Florida rail corridor at West Palm, the trip seemed to speed up and get a lot smoother. Cars on parallel I-95 have a hard time keeping up with the Silver Star, especially on this smooth track.
Didn't seem this fast back out on CSX going to West Palm. Cypress Creek.
I wanted someone to help me during this trip.
Coming into Hialeah, Assistant Conductor William Pugh gave me a tour of Amtrak's new redesigned Viewliner Diner in our consist today on its way back from the National Train Day display in Jacksonville. The old-style tables and chairs have been replaced by booths. Not as elegant, but much more practical and likely more comfortable. Everything in the kitchen is modular, including the storage cabinets. All of them detach and roll out a special commissary door. No more shoving provisions through that narrow loading door on the Heritage Diners. It was a little eerie being in Amtrak's Hialeah yard. We were definitely in the middle of things. Most of the gang went into Miami to party, but Liz and I hung back, choosing to stay with Bob and Sarah for a quiet evening on the Hollywood Beach. Amtrak's new Hialeah service shops were opened in 2012, replacing old, mostly outdoor facilities. This is where regular maintenance happens on the Silver Fleet and periodic servicing on nearly all cars on Eastern Amtrak trains.
How was your night?
By 11:30 the next morning, all the gang who stayed overnight on South Beach were coming back aboard. A little after noon, and we're back on the Seaboard Main, headed for Tampa. Another delicious lunch prepared by Chef Mario on the Georgia 300. By Okeechobee, the birthday boy is opening presents. I guess Paul has let it be known somewhere along the line that he's a fan of the Captain.
Bigger bottle of Captain.
Even after nearly losing his voice from the party in Miami, Paul's enthusiasm about this charter and these cars shows through.
I first had the opportunity to ride this car just by chance in February of 2001 and just fell in love with riding a private car, especially this car because of the back platform. It was just such a treat to be out there. I rode from Tallahassee to New Orleans, got the chance to sleep overnight in the car, and it was hard for me to sleep because I spent a lot of time out on the back porch, and it was a lot of fun. So since then, it's always been my dream to charter this car, and so about 2 years ago, we started seriously talking about doing this trip. What are we going to do? Something big next for, you know, a big vacation. And coming forward on the calendar was unfortunately my 40th birthday approaching, so we thought that would be a good time to plan this trip, and so we did.
Back in Tampa, many of us detrained and said our farewells. Paul and his Jacksonville friends stayed aboard for the trip home. It was an unforgettable rail journey and one of the best birthday parties I've ever been to. At Tampa Union Station, this is Danny Harmon, out.